Hi guys, this is Brad Lincoln, Education Agent for Pathway to Oz with another one of Brad's Quick Bits. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss with you something that a lot of students tend to ask us about that they do find quite tricky to understand, and there's a very simple answer, and the question is, can an international student open a business while on a student visa in Australia? So the simple answer to that question, as I said, is yes. An international student can open a business while studying in Australia. It is a pretty simple process to do this. Of course, there would be different requirements depending on what type of business it is that you want to open. But generally speaking, as long as you get yourself an ABN number or an Australian business number, you are right to move forward with opening your own business. Okay, what is an ABN number? An ABN or Australian business number is something every business must have to legally trade in Australia. Okay, so this is what is linked to all things like your tax and your payrolls and invoicing, all those sorts of things that make a business be able to run in its day-to-day way. How do you get an ABN number? Again, very simple guys. Once you have entered Australia and you have received your tax file number, you are then eligible to apply for an ABN number. An ABN number, or the Australian business number, is provided free by the government, and it's simply a matter of jumping online, completing a very short questionnaire, and your ABN will be posted out to you within about 2 weeks. What type of business can an international student operate? Now guys, as you can imagine, this is really limitless. It depends on your skill set and what you're prepared to do or work as in your own business. So I think the easiest way for me to explain this to you would be to give you a couple of examples of some of the things our students have done while studying in Australia. So example number one, John was studying in Australia and found himself doing a lot of part-time work, but also still had a bit of free time up his sleeve. John bought a car while he was in Australia, which was a really big benefit to him because he was then able to get himself an ABN and work for ride-sharing services like Uber and Uber Eats to do deliveries of food and also pick up and drop-offs of people. I think we all know how Uber tends to work by now. But basically, you got to think about it in the sense, even though you are working for a company like Uber, essentially you are still your own small business because you're using your vehicle, you're choosing your hours. You know what I mean? So this is a type of small business an international student can operate because you are required to have an ABN when working for someone like Uber. Okay, example number two. Ashley was studying a photography package on the Gold Coast, which is a great course by the way, and it's something she really had a passion for. She'd done a lot of it back in her home country of Brazil. So when coming out here, she thought this might be a really good opportunity to make some extra money and work doing something she loves while also undertaking her study. Ashley got herself an ABN number, started promoting her services on Facebook, and within only a couple of weeks, she was getting booked for weddings and special events and making some really, really good money because Ashley decides what she wanted to charge for her services. So she might be doing, for example, say a 3-hour wedding shoot, charging upwards of $400 for that 1-day session. So, you know what I mean, there can be some really good benefits to doing this type of work instead of your general casual work while on an international student visa in Australia. Do you still have to pay tax? Now guys, 100% yes, you still have to pay tax. There is no way of getting around the tax man in Australia. Whether you're on TFN or ABN, you still have to pay tax. Now the difference is when you're on ABN, you have to look after your own tax. It's not paid for you by your employer like standard casual or full-time work. So what I would recommend is always, if you are looking at going down this path, speak to an accountant. These guys are experts in this field. So having a chat with them about what your business is, what your plan is, how much you expect to earn, and get a plan for paying your tax because that's something that doesn't go away. You know what I mean? You might not be able to pay it straight away or something like that, but it's always going to be there. So it's super important that when looking at any sort of business in Australia or you're looking at starting a small little enterprise, you have your whole tax plan worked out. Okay guys, and finally, one of the most important things to remember if you are looking at starting your own business in Australia is you are still subject to the work rights on your student visa. Just because you've started a business or you're working towards something maybe a little bit bigger, this does not exempt you in any way from your work rights or limitations on the student visa. So that is also another very important factor to understand. Now, as always, if you do have any questions about working, living, or studying in Australia, please never hesitate to contact the team at Pathway to Oz via phone, email, Facebook, or Instagram. Thanks.